Bae. Welcome to Let's Talk Show, hosted by your media bae. Now make sure you tune in every week to see who I'm chopping it up with.
Now on tonight's show, I'm going to have financial strategist Katiana join me for a conversation on investing. She's going to help me understand some of the lingo such as dividends, stocks, mutual funds, understanding the difference, and most of all, whether I have $5, $20, $40, or $100,000 in the bank, how to make that money grow in our community. Bring your questions and join the conversation because we definitely want to teach the language of money to elevate our communities.
Subscribe, like, share, and comment, and let's talk. Later, bae. Hey, bae. Welcome to Let's Talk Show, hosted by your media bae. Now make sure you tune in every week to see who I'm chopping it up with.
Now on tonight's show, I'm going to have financial strategist Katiana join me for a conversation on investing. She's going to help me understand some of the lingo such as dividends, stocks, mutual funds, understanding the difference, and most of all, whether I have $5, $20, $40, or $100,000 in the bank, how to make that money grow in our community. Bring your questions and join the conversation because we definitely want to teach the language of money to elevate our communities.
Subscribe, like, share, and comment, and let's talk. Later, bae.
Hey, bae. So welcome to another episode of Let's Talk. I'm really excited to have you guys here. As you know, my goal is to bring you guys different topics and information. And I'm really excited about today's topic because everybody's been trying to figure out about saving money and investing it. You know, you want to hold on to it, but you got to use a little bit of it to make more money. You know, it's really how it all works. So I have this amazing, so let me tell you how the universe works. We all know the universe, you know, call it what you want, you guys. So when I met when I started the topic about your money, and I had Tax Tip Diva on here, I found Katiana on her page, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love what she was talking about. So I said, let me bring her on. And I just thought it was really important because our community needs this. Let's be real, right? So, you know, as you guys are joining the conversation, please like, share, comment. We are live on YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, Instagram, and Facebook. And I'm really excited because y'all don't understand how hard I work to really make this happen week after week, every other day after every other day. So shout out to everybody that's tuned in. Shout out to everyone that shows love. If you're interested in being a sponsor of Let's Talk, hey, hit me up, heymediabay.com. Send me a DM, some information. Let's rock. I'm all about supporting, showing love. But I'm just really excited to have this show today. Also, you know, keep everyone. Hold on. Oh, sorry. Sorry, distraction. But also make sure you comment, share, like, invite folks. We're really going to talk about some things. And please, if you are not financially savvy, do not worry. The purpose of this is to learn. Listen, I understand stocks. I can watch billions and feel like I know what Bobby Axelrod is talking about. But the fact is, they say a lot of crap that I just go, I have no clue what they're talking about. You know, I hear yield and in my head, I just think yellow, slow down, you know, a little triangle, you know, but there's more to it. Understanding dividends, all of that stuff. Honestly, I can speak it. I can bring it up in a conversation, but I really can have no clue what the hell I'm talking about. And I want to change that conversation because with confidence, with understanding comes confidence. You understand finances, you understand money, you understand where and how to go with it. You build a level of confidence in yourself and our community. You can pass that on to your kids. And that is so critical, so important. I think I saw World Star posted a video of a father asking it looked like he was about 3-4 years old, saying, hey, what's a secure credit card? You know, how does this work? And the kid was able to explain it and understand it. Even at that age, you guys, you don't understand the importance of that education. And we all like to talk about how we want to break the cycle. Well, educating ourselves is the first place. Understanding ourselves is the first place. So that's what this episode's about. We're definitely going to take questions. So as you come on and join, please do me a favor, drop your comments, drop your questions. She is listen, I've been stalking her Instagram. If you want to figure out where to find her, right there. Wait, there we go. Right there. Check her out because she has some tips that even I was like, okay, And so my questions through this process are definitely going to be trying to understand as well, just like you guys. Like I said, yo no sé, mija, mira, te lo digo ahora, I don't know. But regardless, I want to have her help us understand more. And I kind of wanted to start with this, right? This image here, unsuccessful people will fail, right? But that shouldn't be it. Take those failures and use them to get to where you got to go. We've all, and I put this up, you guys, because the fact is, we tend to really beat ourselves up, right? About not being so financially savvy. Some of y'all are like in stimulus regret, and that is what I'm calling it, okay? Y'all got those 1,250, whatever it was that the government gave you, or if the government sent you your baby daddy paycheck, y'all already got it, right? And now you're going, okay, that money's gone. You know, why don't you have anything going forward further from that money? Why? But a lot of it is because when you know better, you do better. And that's the purpose of this. So I want you guys to take all of that failure, regret that you're having. Don't sit on it. Don't let it crumble on you. Don't let it dwell on you. Let's take that and use it to build yourself to get to the next step. Use that, what you figured out, what you regret, what you want to do better with. And let's take the knowledge that Katiana is going to give us today to figure out, okay, how do we move forward? You know what I mean? So enough talking, because like I can talk all day. A lot of people see it as a risk. So she's going to pretty much, you know, let's manage our risk. How are we going to do that? How are we going to, little queens. So I'm gonna stop talking, because this I'm really passionate about this. Everybody wants to, you know, Black Lives Matter, Black Dollar. Let's create our own Black Wall Street. Let's, you know, break these generational curses. How are we going to do that, you guys, if we don't understand and don't know money? You can say you understand a bank account, boom, but it goes beyond that. And there's so many things out there. And the thing is, it is hidden. They confuse us with the verbiage, with the wording. But if you get the right person to break down that verbiage, to break down that wording, it will all make sense. And we're now in a complete different predicament to take over. That's what I'm saying. Okay, I'm not talking y'all, because I could preach to y'all all day. But I gotta bring on my sister Katiana. Let me bring her on. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Oh, that was an amazing introduction. I love it. I can hear you talk all night.
It's a passion, and you know, it's one of those things that I really, truly believe when we know better, we do better. That's just our life.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
You know, like I said, I heard you speak. I got on your Instagram. I was like, oh, sis.
Let me pull out the notes.
Yes. Send her a DM. I was like, oh my gosh. And that's and I have to say this. People that I reach out to based on what they're speaking, how knowledgeable they are, you know, the information. And a lot of the times, and I have to say this because people get so hung up on the following.
Mm-hmm.
We are in a social media world where you could spit nothing but facts. You can give somebody in a thing the lottery numbers that they gonna win with on Saturday, and they'll bypass you because you're not at 100K or you don't got the little blue check. Listen, people, do not allow that social vanity be the reason you overlook people that are really trying to help you. Because everybody that I learned from, they're like to me. They got blue checks in real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. So, especially the blue checks is one thing, but the skin color is another as well. You know, you won't believe how much I'm so for my community, but because of my skin color, my own community sometimes does not take what I say seriously. You know, because it's not coming from the white man.
So there's from your own community based on because you look like them.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm too much like them, so I can't possibly know what I'm talking about because they don't know any of this stuff. So how do I know all of this stuff? What did I do that they didn't do? Well, I went to school for it. That's it. That's the only difference. And I actually do it every day. You know, I'm on my phone. I'm trading every single day. I'm watching YouTube videos. I'm keeping up with, like, just now, I just got an email saying, hey, August 31st, you need to do your continuing education to keep your licenses. Like, I'm consistently educating myself. That's the only difference.
And they're trying to, and you know what though? Let's be real. That is, and it's part of our. It's a part of our issue is people don't realize there's layers to our issues.
Oh yeah, we could talk all night about that. Yeah.
And you can't be woke and say you want Black wealth, you want to support, you want to be better, and then the minute a sister that's speaking the facts, you dismiss her because wait, she don't look like what society has told us success should look like.
Exactly.
Mind blowing.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, so that's a whole nother.
Yeah, that's a whole nother live, a whole nother topic.
We'll talk about that another day because I can go in on that.
Yeah.
But I find that interesting, and I'm glad that you shared that because people need to understand and know that getting into the finances. I recently opened up a One United bank account, and I was on their website, and I was on their Facebook, and I was on their everything, and I read all the reviews, all the complaints. I read all of that. But there was somebody that made a huge point, and it's part of why I continue to push and support and help, because we have the expectations of One United, right? To be that of a longest, of a chase that's been receiving financial funding from all angles, consumers, government, from all angles, and that's why they
for generations,
and that's why they operate the way they do. So in my head, I said, I can't get mad at them if they don't have yet the support, the funding, the investing of us enough in there, because then once they do get on that level, then we can be part of, I like to be part of the story of, I was there when they were trying to build.
Yeah,
I didn't know
of course.
they've been around for years. I didn't even know, but now this is their time. And if we want to see that excel, if we want them to have a quicker turnaround time, if we want them to have more branches, you have to understand business, and you have to understand that those are O&M costs. Those are all operational costs that they can't afford to do if they don't have. Y'all see how it works, y'all?
Yeah, of course. And of course, you also want to look at your relationship with banks as well. And what do banks mean for your portfolio, right? So you have your commercial banks, which are the ones that you've heard of: JP Morgan Chase, TD Bank, Wells Fargo. These are the names. They've got everything under the sun. They've got your mobile banking. They're sending you text messages. You can go online, take a picture of your check. They're keeping up with technology. Those are your commercial banks. That's what you get them for convenience. Then you have your credit unions, right? Your credit unions operate much like a nonprofit. So the only difference between a commercial bank and a credit union is that all of the credit union's profits go right back into the business. And so that's why you get much better rates on your mortgages, on any loans, on any credit cards, and also your savings. Your savings account has a much higher interest rate than maybe a commercial bank.
I just learned something.
Exactly, right?
And it's one of those things I've always heard. Credit union, go to a credit union. My first car, 18 years old, brand new finance, whatever. But it was damn near brand new. Was financed through my credit union with my job. So after that, it was one of those things I knew why they just would say, go to credit union. So your brain, which happens, our brain hears, associates, that's the action to take, but we don't understand the why.
Why?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's why you get better rates, because the CEOs of those commercial banks that you've heard of, they're driving the Lambos, they're flying the private jets because they're getting the bonuses. But with the credit union, all of that extra money, all of the profits and everything go right back to its members. So essentially, as a member, that's why you get dividends as well on your savings account. If you have a Navy Federal account, or that's the credit union that I have, by the way. But if you have any other credit union, you will see you get dividends quarterly or monthly on your savings account. These are those same profits that the commercial banks are giving to their CEOs in the form of bonuses, but in a credit union, they're giving it to its members. Okay, so that's the difference. And then you have your small town banks as well, right? So these are the ones that are they're not necessarily a credit union, but they're not on the big scale of a commercial bank. So these are the ones that you're building relationships with real people in them, so that when you do have that lower credit score, or you're looking for that extra handout, maybe you want to open a business and your finances ain't looking too good, but you have a relationship with the people, that's where that can come in handy. So a Bank United is a perfect vehicle for that. It is a commercial bank, but it's not up there with Wells Fargo and TD Bank and all of them yet. Yeah, but you can establish that relationship with the bankers in there, so that you can get the better rate for a car, or you can get the better rate for your business loan, and so on and so forth. I hope that made sense.
No, it did. You just broke that down in a way that really, I've been meaning to go back to a credit union. And, you know, in this world of they're Black-owned everything, I've been trying to figure out of a Black-owned credit union. I found a few, but child,
no, diversify, right?
Oh,
you know, obviously we're not there yet.
So I'm going to be smart. I'm going to be smart and go back to the credit union. My job has an affiliate with the credit union. And I'm and I know that, like, they were like, are you employed with? Boom, that helped. Like I said, 18 years old. It was my first job, big job, my first car, first finance. And it was like, here you go. Keys to your Malibu. I missed the boom. Yeah. But you said something. And I wanted to break down this word before, because we're going to hear it a bit. So when you were talking about the credit unions, and you were saying that kind of that money, the profits, the dividends. How do you break down dividends?
Okay.
I hear it everywhere, but it's almost, I don't know how to put it. You know, you hear it, you know, it pertains to money, but I can't really explain it.
Okay, so when you look at a corporation, right? A corporation has revenue, has sales. So if, let's say, you're selling cameras, right? Your corporation is called Media Bay Incorporated, and you're selling a bunch of cameras, right? If you sell one camera for $1,000, okay, that's the price tag. You're bringing in $1,000. Okay. But in order to calculate your profit, right, you want to take a look at how much did that camera cost you, right? So in a grander scale, at the end of the year, when you're looking at your revenue, your profits, your profits is equal to your revenue minus cost. Okay, so that's I'm taking it way back. So within that cost, within that cost, that can be anything from marketing, from inventory, from paying your employees, and also from paying your investors. Okay, so anybody who invested into your Media Bay from the beginning, whether that's through owning a stock, or whether they have equity in your company because they gave you X amount of money and you told them you'd give them 5% of your business, 10% of your business, that's part of your cost, right? And so a corporation looks at their profit by looking at revenue minus cost, and that cost is equal to that cost has obviously the business cost and then the dividends that they pay their investors. Okay, so essentially, I know I went into a whole tangent here, but essentially the dividends is a way of what's the word I'm looking for, like cutting up the profits and distributing it to all of the investors. I hope that answered the question. It's part of the cost of the company, right? And it's a way to disperse the profits. Okay. Does that clear it up?
So let's take that right into where I figured out or started to hear kind of dividends in a sense. So stocks versus bonds. I feel like this is like East Coast, West Coast type of energy. kind of, yeah. Phrase that I absolutely love. You said stocks are sexy, bonds are not so much.
It's true.
I really like that term because I heard it and I was like, I couldn't agree.
It's true. Okay? How many times have you went on YouTube and then you're hearing, oh, do you want to learn how to turn $5 into $100,000? Or you can make $100,000 in 1 month in the stock market. Like, it's always something sexy about the stock market. But does anybody talk to you about bonds like that? No. No one ever talks to you about bonds. You've heard stocks and bonds, but that's about it. Right? Nobody ever throws it in your face on YouTube videos and commercials and everything. So stocks are sexy, bonds are not. Yeah.
So bonds are what particular?
Okay, so a bond is essentially an IOU. An IOU. It can be, you have government bonds and then you have corporate bonds. Okay, so Media Bay Incorporated wants to open a whole department where Media Bay wants to go around the world and interview people around the world, right? But Media Bay needs money for this, right? So Media Bay can go to the bank and ask for a loan. Right? Media Bay can go in front of investors and say, hey, investors, I'm going to give you X amount of my company if you give me X amount of dollars so I can open this new department. Okay. Right? Or Media Bay can issue out a bond, an IOU, and say, okay, I'm giving you this piece of paper here that's worth, I don't know, $100,000, right? In the future, it's worth $100,000, but you're going to give me $50,000 for it. Okay. So now you get your $50,000. All right. You go open your whole new department. You go in all these interviews around the world, and now your company's worth millions. And now you pay them their $100,000 because you told them, I owe you $100,000, but all you got to do is give me 50 grand. That's a bond, basically.
So all right. Can I tell you why I'm laughing?
Why?
Because that sounds like that one cousin that's always telling you, I got you, this idea gonna be good, just let me hold this.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay. Bonds sound like cousin Ray Ray said, I got you, cuz I got you. This gonna come up, I promise you, and trust me, it's gonna be this amount of money. And you give Ray Ray the money, and now you pray at night.
Right? You pray that you're going to get this money plus interest. It's an IOU, basically. Give me this money now, and I'm going to give you more later. That's all it is, basically. If that's as basic as I can make it. Of course, it gets a lot more complicated than that, but that's the gist of all of it. Corporate bonds and government bonds pretty much work the same way.
Because the government bond would be more, they'll put it towards, I think sometimes I read something as far as a ballot. They could be like, oh, we're going to do this initiative for transportation. I think I saw one a while back, Broward County was having one, for transportation. So they'll put it there, and how people get their money back if
so basically, just like the example that I gave you here would be an example of a corporate bond, because Media Bay Incorporated is a corporation, right? And so, right. So with a municipal bond, that's what you're talking about. So so municipal bond comes from a municipality, which is a city or a state or a neighborhood of some sort, a municipality, basically. And so with government, you can't just do what you want. Media Bay can get up and say, I want to open a whole new department. And unless she has a board of directors, she could do whatever she wants because she's the CEO, right? So she doesn't need permission. But the government doesn't work like that. It's not that simple. So the government needs permission. And so with municipal bonds, they will put it on the ballot and say, hey, we want to build a whole new bridge. And this bridge is going to, bring more traffic to the city, and it's going to bring more tourists, and it's going to, because we'll have more tourists, we'll have more people in the restaurants, we'll have more people in hotels. They're going to sell it to you. They're going to give you reasons why we need this bridge. And so you, as the citizen of that municipality, have to vote on whether this bridge is worth it or not. And so once people vote for the bridge, then the municipality can go ahead and start the process to calculate the worth of the bonds and start issuing them out. So that would be an example of a municipal bond. Yes.
Okay. Which I like that, because I do know sometimes we see those on ballots and stuff. And we're just like, skip, because I don't know. I already got Ray out. The bail bonds, I already paid them. Like, and that's the thing. Like, I want to make sure. Now, stocks, on the other hand, so I owe you. I promise you, I'm gonna make this money back. Let me get it, and I promise you X amount. Now, stocks. Let's talk about stocks.
Okay, so stocks is where you're getting ownership in the company. Sorry, my phone is over here giving me notifications. So essentially you're getting a piece of the company. So now let's say Media Bay, the same, we're looking at the same scenario. So Media Bay wants to open a whole new department and Media Bay needs money, right? So Media Bay can go to the stock exchange, right? And say, hey, investors, all right, I'm giving you a piece of my company. That's different from just an IOU. Because once the IOU is paid, you walk away, you still own 100% of your company. But if you're willing to give a piece of your company, you say, hey, I'm going to give you a piece of my company, and this is how much it's going to cost. And because you own a piece of my company, when the value of my company, right, the equity in my company rises, that's the same thing. Value of the company rises, equity in the company rises, the piece that you have essentially gains value as well. Make sense?
Yes.
So if you own a piece of Apple, right? And when Apple is, did I lose you? Oh, you got it. Okay. Okay. So if you own a piece of Apple, when Apple was bringing in, I don't know, $1 trillion a year, right? 2 years later, Apple is bringing in $10 trillion a year. Now the stock, the equity, the value that you have has risen as well because the value of Apple itself has risen. So that's what happens when a stock goes up. The same thing happens on the downside. If a company is losing value or becoming bankrupt, the value, the equity that you have in that stock goes down. So that's why stocks go up and they go down, because companies, their profits go up and down. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome.
That's why they seem more sexy.
I try to break these down as much as possible.
They seem more sexy because you actually feel more, it's like more of an instant access. And that's why the news gets so big when so-and-so just went public. Now, especially if you know it's a profitable company, you know, let me get a piece of that. Let me get a piece of that. But let me ask you, this is a side note, because, you know, as I know certain companies that have done things, in the event that a company goes private, how does, because I think that's what happened. There's one particular company out of Weston. I remember they went private, I think. Yeah, they went private. And you're talking about early 20-year-olds were becoming millionaires. Because I think they had to sell off I'm trying to remember how it was.
Okay.
When they went private, they had something sold off in there that ended up cutting everybody that a cut that you had stocks in the company, and I wish I was in there.
Yeah. So essentially any corporation, whether you have an S Corp or a C Corp, is essentially a private corporation, right? And so the only investors that can invest in that company are people on the I would say, I don't want to say the black market, but basically it's not the stock market. It's not it's not publicly traded. It's only people who know the CEO or people who are in that circle, right? So Media Bay is only going to give a piece of her company to people that she knows and people that she trusts. She's not just going to give it to some stranger who says, hey, I'm going to give you $100,000 for, 10% of your company. Like, who are you? I don't know. I don't know you from left and right. Right. And so usually companies like Lyft, Facebook, Uber, before they went public, they were only accessible to VCs, right? Venture capitalists. So you had to be a part of this elite group.
I was about to say.
Yes, exactly. To be able to have a piece of that company. Then they went public. All right. So when you go public, that's an initial public offering. That's an IPO.
Oh,
yes, exactly. You watch Billions. I know you got that.
The bottom and I feel so much better.
Right. Okay. Yes. And so now the whole world, the entire world can have a piece of Facebook, can have a piece of Uber, can have a piece of Lyft. And that's why some of the employees, right, that may have been paid as bonuses. Like some corporations give their employees stocks as bonuses. So when the company goes public, they have to be worth certain amount of billions. Then the equity in that in the stocks that they have go through the roof, and that's why you have instant millionaires like that. So when you go from private to an IPO, that's usually when you see the biggest growth. Okay.
Almost like you gotta. It's almost like finding never mind, because this comment might get me in trouble. Let me behave. So
yeah, and that's what most investors do. They try to find the next unicorn, because Uber, Lyft, Facebook, Google, Amazon, all of those were unicorns, right? You didn't know. Yeah.
We had the FTC, and we always hear like Elon Musk went through that issue. I always used to hear the terms insider trading. It took billions for me to understand, and I was like, that's why you got to be like,
yes,
because they'll come and find you.
Yeah,
you just leaked that. Hey, get in here now because it's about to get real.
Exactly, and you got it.
It's not a fair advantage to the rest of us that are trying to figure out how to make a little extra coin. And if we also would have had that insider
okay. Yep. And I don't know if you watched have you watched The Wolf of Wall Street?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what they were doing basically. Yes. So they were doing it with penny stocks. So they were getting people to buy a whole bunch of the stocks. So when people buy, right? Because when the stock goes up and down, it's just a reflection of how much people are buying and how much people are selling. So if a lot of people are buying, the stock goes up. Supply and demand. Stock goes up, a lot of people are buying. If the stock goes down, that means a lot of people are selling. As basic as you can get. So Wolf of Wall Street, the main character, Leonardo DiCaprio's character, was getting people to buy, to bring the stock all the way up. And then since the company would own most of the shares, they would dump. Meaning they would literally sell a whole bunch all at once, dragging the price down all the way. And so they're the ones who are making all the profit. So that's illegal.
The light bulb is turning. It was dim. It was flickering. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
I watch the movies and we watch them because the acting's good. And you're like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Because the acting in it was amazing.
Yeah, but it was a good movie.
It was like, now, shorting a stock. What is that? I've always heard it. Clearly, it seems like it's more of a bad thing than a good thing. But I don't get it.
Okay, so basically, when the stock market goes up, so most basic investors, most basic investment education always talks to you about a stock gaining value, right? You always want to they always tell you buy low and sell high. So you always want to get in at the low side, and your goal is always to sell at the high side, right? So you want to get in when Amazon was at $5 back in 2000, right? And now Amazon is what?
Amazon's one of my biggest regrets. You hear me? It's a lot of people. Amazon and Tesla, okay?
Yeah.
Two of the biggest regrets. Yep. Okay, I digress
because listen, you're not the only one. When I first started trading, I started trading back in 2013 or 14. Amazon was I'd say about $500 a stock when I first started trading. So talk about your biggest regret.
What year?
Yeah, it was. What'd you say?
You said what year?
2013 or 14. I can't remember.
It's one of those. If you love me, you'll buy me Amazon stock. I used to say that. I was like, keep all of your little buy me Amazon stock now.
Yeah.
If I would have made that more of an effort back then, I probably would, because it's continuing to, like, that's another topic. Because Amazon is really why you should never just stick to this is why you need to diversify your portfolio, because they are the predominant example of they were selling books.
Yeah, they were selling books, literally. Right? I remember that. I'm aging myself now.
You sell your whole life. Amazon goes down. People want to. It's almost like as essential as electricity or Wi-Fi. They've become that essential. because
I don't even use Google anymore. Like when I'm looking for something to buy, like I used to use Google to find a website that sells it. No, I go straight to Amazon. If it's not on Amazon, then I go to Google.
They sell your life. Like
they sell everything.
Okay, I digress.
And now they have the movies and the music. Forget it.
And that's the other thing. So I'm one of those. So when looking at companies, and it's one of the things that I started to do to really understand their worth, their value, their longevity. I'm a person that tries not to think of just now, long term. And that was one of the things at that time why I used to say, if you love me, buy me Amazon stock. Because I realized, and this was 4 or 5 years ago, I realized all the companies that actually were under Amazon, which is one of my favorite. I was like, why are they here? And I just realized, like, oh my gosh, it's almost like it's like I don't even listen, people. So I paid attention to everywhere and the reach that they had, and it was a reach that I realized is not gonna go away anytime soon. Even if one aspect of it goes bad, I was like, it's still a good stock in my opinion. So many other aspects of it that would keep it profitable and successful. And that was that's when I started to go, oh my gosh, I could do this stock thing, but child.
You'll be fine. There's a plethora. The one thing about the stock market, and we're gonna get back on topic, by the way. We got off on a tangent, but I'll reel it back in for us. Yes, but one thing about the market, though, you always want to know there is an infinite amount of possibilities every single day, right? You don't need to have fear of missing out or do anything on a hunch and like try to chase a trade or try to chase an investment. When it's just like a bus. You miss one, there's another one coming. Don't worry about it. It might take a little bit longer. You might be in the rain for a little bit, but there's another one coming.
Agree.
So you'll be okay. So back to shorting the stock, right? Yes. Sure. So all right. Whenever the market is up, whenever you buy something and you're hoping that the value goes up, you are bullish. All right. So you're bullish, meaning like you have the horns, the bullish horns going up, right? You think it's going up, you are bullish, right? Now, if you think that the company is going to lose value, right? You think like, for example, TiVo, whatever happened to TiVo? It just went out of nowhere, right? There's some right? There's some companies out there that are just not going to make it in the next century or in the next decade, right? And so you might think that the stock value will go down, and that is translated to bearish, right? You're bearish on the stock. So whenever you're bearish on the stock, meaning you think the stock is going to go down, you can do a strategy to still make money, and that's where shorting a stock comes in, right? So when you buy a stock and you're bullish, right, hoping that it goes up, you make money when that stock actually goes up. But if the stock goes down, you're losing money. When you're shorting a stock, you make money when the stock goes down. And if the stock goes up, you're losing money. Did you get that?
I get it. Because you know what it is? It's the concept of it's on a downfall. Why would that be so? And it's more mental than
exactly. So shorting the stock is basically a strategy that you use whenever you are bearish. And shorting is basically you selling the stock without you actually owning it. So you're shorting the stock. That's a little more advanced. I don't want to get too deep into it, but take a look at
So would you say that that's what in Wolf of Wall Street that they were doing, right? They were shorting it?
They were shorting them. Yes, they were dumping them. They were dumping them in order to drag the price down. And they were the ones making the money. Yes, you got it. You got it.
Okay, so let's talk about, right, whether it's 5, 10, 20, the what is it? The industry average $40 or $40 or $150. I feel like those are the two industry averages. I don't know why. But anyways, whether you have that or you have, I would say, a lot of money, you got your stimulus money, what are, let's look at, we talked about stocks and bonds, right? There's mutual funds as an option for people, right? And then there's real estate. And I wanted to get into the real estate briefly because it was one that I didn't realize what was going on in that area.
Mm-hmm.
They're called REITs.
Mm-hmm. REITs, yeah.
And tell us about REITs, because it seems almost just as, it's almost like stocks. It's just you're putting money instead of into a direct business of a particular source. You're putting into something, in my opinion, that's going to always be needed, real estate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you got it. You basically answered the question for me. I'm going to start bringing you on my Zooms with all my students. All right. You got this. That's exactly it. You got it right. So Media Bay is a corporation, right? Media Bay has different departments. Media Bay probably sells. Did I lose you? Are you there? Okay, I'm just gonna keep going. So Media Bay probably sells T-shirts, probably does interviews, has different things going on, right? With a REIT, it is strictly real estate. So they're going to invest in commercial property, in manufacturing plants, in farms, in apartment complexes, and so on and so forth. So instead of you actually investing in those physical properties, you can buy a REIT, which is basically a stock in a company that invests in real estate. All right.
Okay.
Did I lose you that time? Because I didn't see you for like a minute.
Just so that people could just hear you, see you in the screen. So let me ask you, is that something that's become more, because I hadn't heard of it like that much till recently. Shoot, my boyfriend was like, "Oh, you should look into this," and I was like, "What you talking about?" Do you see it as someone that's into finances? Are you seeing that it's something that people are looking more into?
Well, it's always been around, right? It's just like the mutual fund, which we kind of skipped over, but a mutual fund is essentially
that one.
right? It's essentially a basket of stocks, right? So it's a great way for you to diversify your portfolio. So instead of you trying to pick the best stocks and trying to get lucky, like, oh man, I hope I get another Amazon, or I hope I get another Apple, you just get a basket of stocks that's got all types of stocks in it. And if one stock in there tanks, then your whole portfolio doesn't tank, because it's evenly distributed. So definitely having real estate as part of your portfolio is always gonna balance things out, because maybe the stock market may be tanking because the economy is bad, or Trump tweeted the wrong thing or whatever, but real estate is doing well. So your portfolio is not gonna suffer as much. So it's always been around. It's just that us millennials, you're a millennial, right?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Hold on now. 88. I'm 30.
Me too. I'm 88. Are you 30? Did you turn 32 yet? I'm sorry. I'm giving our age.
In June. I think. Yeah.
I just turned 32 last week. We're the same age. So yeah. So us millennials, it's funny, in my finance program, they taught us the millennials like to be taught what to do. Our parents, they actually just wanted people to do it for them. They just wanted to give a financial advisor, here's the money, go do your thing and make sure I get some money every month, right? But us, our generation, we actually want to learn this stuff. We want to learn how to do it on our own. And so that's why you're hearing more about it. It's because now people are starting to talk, they're starting to do their research. And so, it's getting around, but REITs have always been around. Our parents have used REITs. That's another conversation. Our privileged parents. Their parents. Their
parents.
But you get what I mean.
Yes, I do. Ooh, Lord. Okay, now I will say this. So, with trying to think, where should we go next? Because my brain wants to go everywhere.
No, just let it take you there.
So one of the things for me, I started working at a corporation at the age of 17. When I was hired, the people around me, thank goodness I had them. They said, I think my job automatically gave me a pension. That's automatic, which I know nowadays is really rare. So I automatically had a pension. So imagine at the age of 17, boom, pension. But they was
You
like,
had
hey,
a credit union and you had a pension. Girl, what company is this?
FPL.
Oh,
So,
that's why. That's why. That makes sense. But go on.
so I was, but I also, then they were like, okay, the people around me was like, hey, start your 401k. And I was like, all right. So I just went there, you know, and even, you know, now as I'm realistically, you don't begin to adult till after 25. Now I know why insurance companies have what they do after because, you know, prior to that, I just knew I had the 401k. I, you know, contributed, and I think my job also matches it. And I was like, okay. But then I finally went in it and started to really look at it. So not necessarily that's, you know, into mine, but typically 401k, is that a type of brokerage, or is that, what is a 401k? Because I know I see stocks in there, and I have, I think, an option to look at a few, but I don't have like free range. So what is actually the 401k?
Okay, so essentially, to answer your question, 401k is a tax code. Okay, so when it comes to investing, there are two main types of investment accounts, right? You have a brokerage firm, which is what you just asked me. Is it a brokerage? You have a brokerage firm, a brokerage account, all right? Or you have a retirement account, all right? So yes. So with the retirement accounts, you have different tax codes with them. So 401k, 403b, 457, all of those, and IRA, individual retirement arrangement, are all tax codes, right? And so picture a house. You have a house and the roof is titled 401k. So anything inside of that house is taxed according to the 401k tax laws, right? And same thing with an IRA. Anything inside that house is taxed under the IRA tax codes. Same with the 403b, same with the 457, and so on and so forth. All right. So to go a little deeper, a 401k tells you that anything inside that house can grow tax-free, right? As it's growing, if you have some REITs in there, or if you have mutual funds in there, if you have stocks in there, whatever you have is growing tax-free. Once you're ready to take it out, once you're retired, that's when you're taxed. Okay, so these are all tax strategies. So you definitely, when you're choosing which retirement vehicle you want to put your money in, you want to look at the tax implications, because most people, when they start investing, they don't worry about taxes. So let me ask you this: if you made $1 million and you tax 50%, did you make $1 million?
And I taxed it, or they taxed it?
Yeah, Uncle Sam says I need 50%. Did you make $1 million?
No, I didn't make nothing. He took
you
it.
made $500,000. That's what you made, right? And so most people,
like I made it.
Yeah, most people focus on return and they forget about the tax implications. And so that's a whole nother story. But a 401k is essentially a tax code, to answer your question.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yes.
Look at that. It's a after 30 to make sense of that. Ain't that about
most people think that a 401k is a savings account of some sort, or maybe an investment account of some sort. No, it is just a tax code. That's it.
The tax code. Okay. So it's not, which I'm glad I asked, because in my head I looked at them almost like the way I look at these. But they're not.
No, what happens is they're investment accounts that may be in Fidelity, maybe in TD Ameritrade or Scottrade, and so on and so forth.
But I don't have flexibility.
But the 401k part is just telling the IRS how it's taxed. That's all.
So these on the screen are
different brokerage firms.
Brokerage. Okay. So let's talk about those. Right?
Okay.
So brokerage firms.
Okay, nice. So you remember the movie The Pursuit of Happiness? Did you watch that with Will Smith? Yes. Right. So so he was homeless, and then he got his brokerage license and he became a broker, right? So a broker, essentially, back in the day, before we had the internet, right? And we're millennials, so we remember those days. we're that generation that got both the best of both worlds, right? So before that, you, in order to purchase a stock, let's say you wanted to purchase a media-based stock, right? You would call your broker and say, "Hey, broker, what's up? How you doing? I've got about $50 and I want to buy some media-based stocks. So can you get me the best price?" So the broker, which is Will Smith in that movie, right, would be in that brokerage firm looking at the TV, yelling at the screen, trying like, "Hey, I need this. I need this at $20. I need it at $30. That's why you see in all the movies how they go crazy looking at the screens and on the phone, right? So the broker's job was to get you the cheapest price for that day with your money, right? And so because they did all that work for you, you would give them a commission. Like, "Oh, you got me three media-based stocks for $50. All right, here's a little something. Here's a little tip." Right? Right. So that was your broker. Now, I mean, they still exist. There's real life brokers, but now it's just an online platform. You just click a button. Yeah, exactly. So Robinhood came and changed the game. They got rid of commissions. So basically,
okay, you answer my question, because I've been hearing everybody talk about Robinhood, and I'm like, gosh darn it, not the man in tights, but why is Robinhood so popping?
He was stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, right?
Got it.
Yeah. So basically, you can click. You say, "I want Media Bay. I want to buy 3 shares of Media Bay, and I don't want to pay any more than $20." So you go on Robinhood. You put in the $20 trade price, and whenever Media Bay stocks reaches $20, it automatically buys it for you. And guess what? You ain't got to pay them any commission. You get that's a free service, right? So yeah.
Oh, great. Okay.
Right? Yes, yes.
Wow.
So brokerage firms have followed Robinhood. So most of them do have 0 commissions. Some of them have like maybe $1 or 60 cents commission.
They've learned to come down to
exactly.
Okay. And are you well, yeah, because so if I'm like with one company, I can transfer over my money if I decide to. Okay, by the way, disclaimer. First of all, y'all, we are not affiliated with none of these people.
No.
With none of these companies.
Definitely not Robinhood.
Okay. She is Katiana. I am Media Bay, and that's it. We are not affiliated. We are not getting any cut, commit, ain't nothing. We are just having conversations to educate you. All right, carry on. So,
yes.
You know, people will be like, no.
Yes.
Okay. So
I wanted to add, a brokerage firm is essentially an investment firm. That's basically as basic as you can get it. Yeah, I broke it down on how it works, but it's essentially an investment firm. So TD Ameritrade, Scottrade, Charles Schwab, all of those are investment firms.
Don't laugh. I always felt like when I get money, I was like, I'm just gonna open up an account at Charles Schwab because it just sounded like I just did it. I digress.
Listen, I love Charles. I'm not affiliated with them, but I love Charles Schwab. Okay, and you can start with them with $0, so you'll be okay.
Are there any
you don't need no money.
brokerage firms?
What'd you say? Say that again.
Black-owned
brokerage firm. You know what? I always wanted to be one, to definitely have one, but I haven't looked if any of them exist yet. So that's a good question. I'm going to look into that.
I'm going to send you something that I came across, but I wasn't going to share it because I'm still learning. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about yet. Just bear with me. When y'all see me balling. Okay, anyways. Now, before we leave, I do want to touch on this because you did some interesting breaking down on this. And so where is it? Okay, where is it? Here he is. Okay, so we talked mutual funds and then ETFs, which ETFs stand for
exchange traded funds. So the reason why it's called an exchange traded fund is, unlike a mutual fund, you can only buy a mutual fund after the stock market closes. So the stock market opens at 9:30 a.m. Monday through Friday and closes at 4 p.m. Right? So you can purchase a mutual fund after the bell rings. just like school. Bell rings, everybody goes home, then you can purchase a mutual fund. An exchange traded fund, right? You can purchase anytime the stock market is open. So from 9:30 to 4. And the value of it goes up and down throughout the day. In a mutual fund, that does not happen because it's not being traded throughout the day. It's only being traded after the bell rings. Okay.
So that means it keeps a steady price?
Yes and no. Yes and no, because remember they're being traded after the bell rings, so there's still a movement in price after the bell rings, but the movement in price doesn't happen throughout the whole day.
Okay.
I hope that makes sense. So it'll happen like, the next day. You know what I mean? Because all of the activities happening after the bell rings, so you'll find that out the next day. You won't be able to track it just like you could see a stock go up and down throughout the day. But they're essentially both a basket of stocks.
So let me ask you, based on, your conversations, based on what you're learning, and just our folks, as you're having these discussions, as you're educating people, what is the one thing still that you just wish we just kind of get across or really start to, that one thing that if we just remove that, it just would make taking all this in and moving this way a lot easier?
The mindset, definitely the mindset. It's funny when you opened our discussion here, you were giving an introduction. You mentioned an example of a child that knew what a secured credit card was, and they were having a conversation with their father about different, financial terms and so on and so forth. Your programming about your relationship with money starts from age 0 up until age 7. Right? There's a saying out there that show me a child up until the age of 7, and I will show you what kind of man/woman they will become. Right?
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Great.
Yes. So we learn, we inherit our relationship with money based on what we observe as a child. Right? What type of relationship with money does the Black community usually have? It's turn off the lights. Who pays the phone bill? Who's paying the light bill over here?
I feel like it's very left. It's either up or down, because you have that, and then you got the, I just balled out of control and bought a bread, and I'm like, it's almost like there's no in between.
There's no in between. And then there's yeah, exactly. There's the frugal, like, hey, I'm on food stamps, or money doesn't grow on trees, or, do you have McDonald's money? Like, yeah. So this is what's right. So this is what's being programmed into your mind. And so when you grow up, you have that same relationship with money. And so getting rid of, like, how they talk about brainwashing? Well, unbrainwashing, scrubbing that out of your brain is such a hard process, especially after the age of 25. And sometimes it's like pulling teeth. When you tell someone that you have to willing to risk their money or willing to lose money, and they're taught that money doesn't grow on trees, they're going to hold on to every little thing that they have.
Yes. I'm kind of like that. I'm like, that is really me, but that is very interesting. You mentioned that, and I've heard it. And what's crazy, when I started trying to learn stocks, I brought my daughter in with me. TD Ameritrade, I know had a way that you could practice stocks. They have like
a paper account. Yes.
Me and her would talk, and we would have a discussion, and I would break it down, because as far as how you can make money with stocks was a relatively simple idea. And I would kind of say, okay, let's take this money and let's just put a little bit over here. Even though I wasn't fluent in it, I had a bit of understanding, but I wanted her to understand that there's a lot more that you can do with your money than spend it, than put it towards something that you're not you're gonna eat it and then you're gonna poop it and then you're done. That's it. That's what happened to that. So I started that early. And so even now she's pretty mindful. So she had an app. So she had something she wanted to buy on an app. And I was like, no. But the next day she goes, here's the $1 and some change for what it's going to be with the taxes.
Yeah.
Can I get this 99-cent app?
Yeah.
I made her understand that it just doesn't come out of nowhere. But we really do have to fix the relationship that we have with money, because our kids are learning it. And I will say, as an adult, because I've been so guilty of that, and I have to make the memory with myself all the time. I have to make sure that I fix what I say to her. Mommy ain't got no money. Mommy, like those, we don't realize we start creating little things in their head.
Exactly. So, if you look at the vocal cord and you look at the, I don't know if I can go this deep on your live, but if you look at the reproductive, right? So you look at the female reproductive system and the vocal cord under a microscope, they look exactly the same. And guess what? They both bring life to this world, right? The female reproductive system creates life and your vocal cord creates life. They look the same. So be mindful of your words and what you speak. That's another thing that our community has. Oh, I'm so broke. Oh, I ain't got no money. Oh, I ain't got this. You are creating that same reality. Yes, exactly. Okay. And so mindset, yes. I could go on and on.
No, but I agree with that, because it's one of those things, and at least for me, it was just very critical to make sure. So, okay, quick story before we wrap up the live. So a lot of people, I've shared it, but in my household, not for religious reasons, but a couple of years ago, I stopped doing presents for her for Christmas. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it started off as petty. Yeah. She has this 1 year, and all y'all know, your kid goes through this 1 or 2 years, which you are like, Lord. And so she went on punishment, and I told her, no, when I tell you, it was only books and bed. That was and so no toys, no nothing. I didn't buy her anything. So Christmas was coming around. Her birthday came. She didn't get anything. We go to Disney every year. That was gone. But then she started to get better. But come Christmas, I said, no, I'm not going to go back to giving you items. I'm not going to go back, especially for Christmas, because I wanted to change the mindset, the mentality. Christmas to me just worries me about our community so much.
Yeah.
And so I said no, because I remember, I can't tell you what I got every year for Christmas, but I can tell you how happy I felt being with my family.
Yes.
When that hit me, so every year for Christmas, we do a trip. We spend some time. We do something to create a memory. She does not for me or her dad. I don't think he does it either. But I don't give her presents. And do you know, she has, and I've heard of my friends and family members that if their kids don't get anything for Christmas, tantrums. Oh, you don't love me. You know, we've created that relationship with money to items to be tied in with love.
Yes.
And now we have, if she doesn't get anything, she's like, okay. She just knows there's more to life than this object, this item. So that's why that relationship with money, changing our mindset is so critical, because we don't realize we have the control to change that in ourselves and our kids.
Yes.
We just have the discipline for it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Just all day.
I'm glad we could talk on this frequency, Queen. I'm so glad.
Honestly, I just want our people to I don't like kids to be so tied to items. You know, I was like, let's start them with the basics.
Yes.
Let them appreciate the benefit of hard work to then get to these things. Right now, our kids, my friends, a lot of us are just, if our kids we're so trying to give them what we didn't have, that we create this expectation that I'm supposed to get this. Let me tell you, I'm supposed to, kid. I'm like, I'm supposed to thump you in the forehead. That's really how I feel, but I also know it's not their fault. That is the mindset of the parent. That is the mindset of what the expectation has been set to them, that you're supposed to get something. No, the hell you not.
Yeah, they're just a sponge. They watch your actions. You could talk all you want, but they're watching your actions. That's
you can tell me not to be this way, but I just watch you turn up because you got a brand new Rollie. I want to feel that excitement.
Yeah,
if you're not tied to an object, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Ooh. Definitely. That's a problem.
Y'all not ready for these conversations. Y'all not ready, because y'all come back.
We're gonna need another hour. We're gonna need another hour.
That's taking naps. Lord. So let me ask you, as we wrap up, if somebody comes to you, how do you help individuals? Do you give them guidance? Like, do you have a service fee where it's like, hey, for this month, can you guide me on how to, what to?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So essentially, it usually starts out as a financial consultation. So I sit down. My financial consultations come in two forms. I usually help clients if they just want to kind of get a little taste of working with me. I do have a special that I'm doing.
Okay.
Where it's well, I don't want to get into prices and stuff like that, but
no.
there is
hit her up if you're interested.
Okay, so I do $1 a minute, where you could do anywhere from 45 minutes, 60 minutes to 90 minutes, and just get a little taste of me. And then I have another program where it's 3 sessions. First, we take a look at your past relationship with money. We have to face it, right? We need to lay it out. We're not going to fix anything if we don't know what's going on. So we dig a little deeper. It actually feels like a therapy session. I've had people cry. I've had people say, hey, shouldn't I be talking to a therapist about this?
Therapy. Shoot, girl.
Yes, where we literally uncover all of your past traumas with money. We're talking money here. I'm not going to sit here and, talk to you about, crazy stuff that happened in your past, but past relationship with money. What type of relationship you want to have with money, right? And then we put together a plan. So it's a 3-session thing. We put together a plan, and if you want to continue working with me, obviously we can talk about that. And then I have my courses where I teach beginner stock market trading, intermediate stock market trading, and then I have a mentorship where I literally hold your hand throughout the whole process, right down to your first couple of trades, where I tell you if I think it's a good idea or not, and we bounce back ideas and so on and so forth. But yeah, that's how I work with people.
Okay, so definitely check her out, because I know a lot of people, I hear the conversations, everybody's trying to figure out. And, one of the biggest things is it's okay to invest in yourself to be better, you guys. That's why I bring so many different individuals that are, their services and what they offer is part of investing in yourself. You're not going to be know all and all, and it's okay. And in the process, let's be real, you're supporting a Black business, huh? Hello.
Hello.
Don't be afraid to invest in yourself. Taking that class doesn't mean you don't know more. No, listen, there's millionaires that tell people all the time, continue to invest in yourself, put money into yourself, because there's no bigger return than yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And there's okay, yes.
Is mutual funds a good investment to get into?
Okay. So I get these questions all the time. Katiana, what's a good stock or what's a good investment? I always tell people it really depends on your goals, right? Okay. So if you're investing for retirement and your retirement is about 30 years from now versus investing because you want to create residual income every month, your strategies are going to be very different. Right? Because if you're buying a stock and it's going up and down, but you got 30 years to hold on to it, you're not going to panic. You're going to hold on to it and it's going to do its thing in 30 years. Versus if you're going to create income for next month. And so when people ask me, is a mutual fund a good investment, or is buying Amazon or is buying Apple a good investment, or should I look into this vaccine stock or this marijuana stock? It really depends on your goals. If your goal is a long term, then usually mutual funds and ETFs are a good idea because it diversifies your portfolio. Right? But if you're looking to make a quick dollar next month or in the next couple of weeks, mutual funds don't move like that. They don't go up and down. Remember, we talked about going up and down throughout the day. That's probably not the best investment for you. You know what I mean? So, Torrey Higgs, it depends on your goals. That's my answer. There's another question.
Well, I was going to ask, oh wait, somebody said, shout out to Jazzy. She said, absolutely, my parents started teaching me about finances when I was 6. That's why I budget monthly. It makes a huge difference.
There you go.
I said, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, it's true.
There was a tip I heard a while back, and I kind of agree with it. Should you, when looking to invest, there's people that do it because everybody else is doing it. But I find that it's better if you do it and you start with something you have an interest in.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay.
You definitely want to start, and that's one of the things I work with clients with. You want to start it with your why. Why are you investing? Okay. Are you investing because you just want to try it out? And that's okay. There's no wrong or right answer for investing, right? Maybe you just want to dabble your toes in it, maybe because your best friend is doing it, or maybe because you saw something on the news that intrigued you, or maybe you actually have a goal. I want to buy a house in the next 5 years and I need $10,000 to put down on it, right? And I have X amount of money to start with. Or maybe it's a tax strategy for you. Maybe you make too much money and you need to make it look like you don't make that much money. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many different reasons for wanting to invest. So you definitely want to establish that from the beginning, and that's going to dictate all of your strategies.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
I mean, I just remember, and it's sometimes you gotta kind of, you know what I realized with all of this, it's so psychological. And I was when I heard that tip, I was like, well, duh, because if you got an interest in makeup, you're gonna keep up with all of that stuff. You're gonna keep up with what's going on, and when you keep up, you know, like one of the things that I learned was adding, like on my brokerage account, was adding stocks. So I love Disney. So that was like one of the first stocks that I had to add.
Yeah.
And
it's been around for a while and it pays dividends. So yes.
So I was like, let me go ahead and just try to figure out what I like. And that's what I did with my daughter. I said, what's something that you like?
Yeah.
This was years ago. So I think we was like Barbie. So I was like Mattel. I looked that up, stuff like that. And I looked it up and I said, okay, let's watch it. And I said, let's play the watching game. Let's understand how it goes up, how it goes down. Let's look at what the news said today. And, you know, I didn't realize how much I brought in current events along with finances, along with, honestly, bonding in an era right now where everything is, you know, digital. Here's the iPad going back to, it just allowed us to kind of in different levels kind of interact. And I just was like, so, you know, you could bond over, y'all.
Yeah, and you're teaching her business as well. You know, the one thing about following stocks is you're essentially you own a piece of Disney. You know what I mean? You are just like you own Media Bay, like you own Disney. Hello, Disney you know who I am.
I miss you, Disney.
Right?
I'm gonna relapse.
Yes. So yeah.
Can I tell you, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm not gonna lie, girl, don't laugh at me, right? I've cried at Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah.
I just now realized he was a brokerage.
Yeah. Basically, now watch it again, and you'll watch it with a whole new eyes.
I'm gonna even take these one out. I'm gonna watch them with this one and off. And so like after I get educated in things, I like to go back and watch. So like I will rewatch Billions, which I love. I would rewatch
Wolf of Wall Street,
which just had some bomb acting. So definitely I'm gonna go back and watch those and take in what I said. Any last minute comments? Any last comments you want to give our folks?
Yeah, definitely. You know, work on your mindset. Everybody always wants to start investing, but I could literally sit there and say, Media Bay, tomorrow at 9:30 buy XYZ stock at $20 and you will make $1 million. If your mindset is not there, it's not aligned, you're going to come up with every excuse not to do it. You're going to be like, well, how does she know that that's going to work? What if it doesn't? What if I wake up too late? What if I don't get that $20? What if, blah, 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 blah. You're going to come up with all the excuses not to do it. So if you're aligned, you believe in yourself, your mindset is there, you're going to take the opportunity. And yeah, you got to work on your mindset and everything else will fall into place. You're welcome, baby Llama. Baby Llama.
It's very interactive. Very, very interactive.
Yes.
But definitely, I appreciate you for coming on. You guys, as you guys have been watching, this is available on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch. So go watch it, share it, listen, share it with somebody. And that mindset thing is real. Because you said it. Just like somebody can say, I want to start a business. I want to have my own. You got to get ready for the grind and understanding and time and investment that it takes to make it happen. Because trust me, everything that I do here, people are always like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. Then when I break them down on, I have a 9 to 5 still. Okay? now I co-produce, one of our online radio shows on Monday. So I do this on Tuesday. I have my own other online radio show Wednesdays and Friday nights. And then I have my other show Thursday and weekends. I just figure out life,
And then you're a mom, you're a full-time mom. Hello.
Yes, and I'm just like, but if the mindset, if the passion, and if the interest is not there, just because you see Katiana being successful in it does not mean you will be as well if you don't have the mindset for it.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly.
Wise, listen, I'm gonna start charging y'all for some of these wise words that I've been getting.
Hello.
No, I be kind of woke and stuff.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Katiana. Don't hang up yet. Everyone, please, like I said, share, comment, like, share this. I really appreciate everybody that tuned in. The goal and the purpose of this show and a lot of my shows is just to kind of really help us become more, to understand better so that we can build the confidence. I just really believe the lack of confidence comes from not knowing and understanding. I have a show this Thursday that is talking about elections, and it's not about who to vote for, you guys. It's another topic about understanding what each seat you're going to vote for does. Because if you understand now better what that seat does, you will really feel confident about who to put in that seat. So those same issues that we keep complaining about and being upset about, we can start putting in people that share our own values or views, at least close to it, because nobody will ever be exact. But I want to go over what each seat does. I have this young lady, Brenda Lee Morrison from Urban League, Broward County, YPN, Young Professionals Network, that's going to join me. I can't wait. So, yeah. So
I'm gonna watch. What time is that? 8 p.m.
That was Thursday. Yeah, 8 p.m. as well.
I'll be on there because that's very important to know.
So stay with me. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Hold on. Don't leave yet. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like I said, share, like, comment. And I love you guys. Later, babes.
Hey, babe, welcome to Let's Talk Show, hosted by your media babe. Now make sure you tune in every week to see who I'm chopping it up with. Now, tonight's show, I'm going to have financial strategist Katiana join me for a conversation on investing. She's going to help me understand some of the lingo, such as dividends, stocks, mutual funds, understanding the difference, and most of all, whether I have $5, $20, $40, or $100,000 in the bank, how to make that money grow in our community. Questions and join the conversation because we exactly want to teach the language of money to elevate our community. Subscribe, like, share, and comment, and